Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Sam. Welcome back to another video. iOS 13 rumors, they've been popping off lately, and I don't exactly know why. So 9to5Mac is back at it again with a fresh article today, and while I thought this was only going to talk about behind-the-scenes developer changes, we actually get another insane drop of info about features that we'll be able to use for iOS 13. So let's go ahead and get started. If you guys are excited, as always, drop a like down below. It does seriously help me out, and of course hit subscribe so you're always up to date and you're never missing a beat on the latest Apple news. Now, before we jump into anything else, before I even talk about 9to5Mac, I actually want to show you this first upgrade. We are going to be getting new Animoji. And at this point, I want to know if you guys still care, but according to Steve Troughton-Smith on Twitter, very good track record as well, says we're going to get cow, octopus, mouse, and an emoji face. So if you still use Animoji, like the team does a great job. The animations are next level for the 3D look and feel and the tracking of your face, and it's exciting. We already, I think, heard some others would be coming in iOS 13, but it's cool that we're getting Animoji. I just don't know if that's what we need. What we do need is a more open and free operating system, and I'm happy to tell you guys today that that's the direction Apple is going in. Siri, machine learning, NFC, and a number of other parts of iOS are going from strictly controlled by Apple to open to third-party developers, and I think it's going to make the upgrade 10 times better than it was going to be before. Like, the good news for iOS 13 just keeps coming, and we gotta jump into what's new now. So reading through this, the future of iOS has never looked more optimistic. It is going to be the most pro version of iOS with iOS 13, the best version for users around the world with iOS 13, and more importantly, something that I've wanted to see forever and something that Apple continues to do bit by bit, piece by piece, line of code by line of code, is a freer and more open piece of software. If there's one thing that iOS doesn't have, and that's a blessing and a curse, it's that it's not very open. This year, Apple's taking that a step further, and iOS 13, without question, is going to be more friendly to not only third-party developers, but even third-party companies, it sounds like, that want to work with iOS and the iPhone. Let's start it off right now with a more open version of Siri. According to 9to5Mac, quote, there's going to be media playback, search, voice calling, event ticketing, message attachment, train trip, flight, airport gate, and seat information that Siri will now be able to access with iOS 13. You couldn't really do any of that third-party wise with the iOS 12 version of Siri, and I know what you guys are thinking, right? Will this be enough to save Siri? And I think if this is the only change alone, like Apple does this every year, they make Siri a little bit more open than the year before, then no, I don't think that Siri is going to be better than Google Assistant or Amazon Alexa, because that was annoying. I just realized I had that connected. Because Siri's bad, and I'm not afraid to say that because it's true. I don't enjoy talking to Siri 9 times out of 10. Usually the info is wrong. The voice tracking to me isn't even that good. While Alexa can get the job done, I keep forgetting that it's set up. Amazon speaker, I'll say it that way, seems to get the job done each and every single time. But this is still a good step in the right direction, and I'm hoping that this is like step one of still a larger plan for Siri to get smarter, and regardless, it's gonna be more open and integrated with third-party apps. So, I mean, you could be walking down the street, say, hey, Siri, when do I get on my flight? Or what seat am I in, it sounds like, and it'll be able to read you off that information if developers integrate that into their app. Now, next up, on that exact same beat, NFC, that's near field communication used for things like Apple Pay, that's going to open up more as well. Apple has not only leaked this to somebody at 9to5Mac, but Apple has actually confirmed this to the EU government, which is definitely the most unlikely leaker of all time. But anyway, the EU government has confirmed that in 2019, before the end of the year, the NFC on the iPhone is going to be able to get and read like passport data, I believe at least in the United Kingdom. I assume this is going to be like a worldwide rollout, or at least broader than just the UK at first, because generally Apple launches with like US, UK, I believe Australia, and a couple of other countries. But the new formats it's going to be able to read is ISO 7816, Felicia, F-E-L-I-C-A, and then MyFair, and currently it only supports NDEF. So right now all we have confirmed for expanded NFC feature-wise is like passport info read via NFC, but I'm hoping this expands to driver's license or general identification or like your taxpayer stuff. I hope that's all one day part of your iPhone and everything can be done by tapping, and nothing has to be like scanned. It's all incredibly secure on the secure enclave, transferred via NFC, and then you never have to carry around paper again. That's pretty cool, and plus it would be better for the environment and I'd have to constantly print out stuff. Now those two are actually going to be functional advantages. You'll be able to talk to Siri and get better and more accurate responses with some of your apps on your phone. You'll be able to get passport data via NFC or via however they say it on which side of the pond. They're also working on augmented reality improvements, and I get that it's a cool concept, but I've tried for 3 or 4 years now to get into it, and I still cannot get into AR. I cannot tell you the last time I used my phone for something augmented reality related. I thought I was going to use like that tape measure app, and I personally found it to be extremely inaccurate. I found that sometimes it's spot on, but I mean, if I'm hanging a picture, am I really going to trust my phone to tell me when it's sometimes inaccurate? Or am I just going to take out a tape measure like a normal person and do it? I hope Apple continues to improve it and work on this vision of like the AR augmented future where you could use your phone and like see the maps in front of you or have glasses on and walk around and see text messages and bubbles that only you can see and they're personalized for you. That sounds cool, but general AR improvements, like they're going to be here, and again, I think it's going to be something that's fun to talk about for one day and you're going to forget about it the next. Apple is working on, for developers, a new augmented reality visual development app. So I assume making augmented reality experiences could be easier or more interactive for developers, but it's still unclear whether or not that's going to be like a demo app for everybody for iOS 13 or just for developers and nobody else. I'll keep you updated on that. Next up, these two features are really tiny, but I also think it's going to be great that developers finally have better functionality here. So inside of third-party applications with iOS 13, you're going to be able to, if developers want to, use rich link previews. So you know how it looks in the iMessage app when somebody sends you a YouTube link or a website link? It's not literally just the web URL like it was traditionally. With iOS 11 or 12, Apple made it so that there's context, there's an image, there's usually a website title and an article title in addition to just a link. So third-party developers will be able to use that in iOS 13 on top. And out of all this, I'm probably most excited for this to be coming, but third-party developers are going to have more granular control over the Taptic Engine. This is something that I definitely look past a lot of the time, but it really does make the iPhone unique because nobody has anything like it. And that's the vibration patterns, the way it feels in your pocket, the way it feels like a normal, calm vibration motor, and it doesn't shake your entire room when you get a text message. That's something that I noticed when I used Android phones. The vibration was not great, and it's like that's a small part of the phone. That's why it is easy to write off. But with iOS 13, Apple's going to give developers the kind of control that they have for their first-party applications. So again, it's just going to be a better, more cohesive experience. And there are more details as well. So there is going to be third-party document scanning. Apple's going to open up that API. So you know in the Notes app when you go to scan a document, maybe you didn't know that was built in. It is, and it works amazingly and surprisingly well. Good job to that team at Apple. In iOS 13, all of your third-party apps will at least have the ability to use that out of the gate. So document scanning in general is going to be better across the board if developers take advantage of that with iOS 13. And because Apple's been really beefing up their chips in recent history with machine learning, developers now will be able to take advantage of on-device dynamic machine learning. So before, if they deployed some machine learning with their app, it was static. They could not change it after it was inside of the app. Now, based on how you use an application, the machine learning will adjust based on your usage, maybe offering you different things at different times based on your usage. Or this is me speculating, but maybe adjusting how much battery the app would take or toll your device based on how often you use it. It would be able to optimize what it loads and what it shows you. I don't know how much impact this is going to have when you use it in an app or a developer integrates it into something like Facebook or Twitter or YouTube or I was going to say Google Plus for some reason. So you can see the trend again here. It used to be just for Apple's apps, and now they're opening it up to third-party apps. And this concludes with one other feature that makes me believe that it's going to be a massive upgrade for the iPad, but also on the iPod and the iPhone as well, and that is that importing photos no longer going to take you through the camera app or the Photos app and then into the third-party app that you want to go to. With iOS 13, 9to5 Mac says that you'll be able to directly import photos to the app you want. like a normal computer, like it always should have worked. Right now, you literally have to go to the Photos app first, import them to your personal iCloud photo library if you have that turned on, then put them in the third-party app, then go back and delete them if you don't want them in your personal library. Of course, everything is going to be confirmed on June 3rd, right around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, when Apple holds their WWDC 2019 keynote address. And I have not been this excited for WWDC in a while. It's my favorite event every year just because iOS is largely what we focus on here at iUpdate. But this year, guys, so many new features coming. You have all those forward-facing features and then all this stuff behind the scenes. It's all going to tie together to create this ginormous upgrade. It's not going to be like iOS 12 where they just focused on performance and stability, added a couple of really tiny features. This is the big upgrade. This is going to be like iOS 7 all over again, and fingers crossed we're also going to get new icons or a new UI, because that's something that I'm looking forward to. And if any year Apple was going to do it, it sounds like it's going to be this year. So these are all the latest updates that I wanted to share with you for iOS 13. Keep in mind, we're also getting that redesigned home screen, redesigned CarPlay UI. We're getting new dynamic wallpapers. We're getting dark mode, obviously. I'm trying to think of all the other features, like Mail app upgrades, Photos app algorithm changes. It's going to be a big year. You guys are going to want to miss it. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, hit like down below and also hit subscribe so you stay up to date and don't miss a beat. I've been Sam. I hope you're doing well, and I will catch you all in my next video.